Welcome back to Set the Standard Podcast. I'm your host, Genelle.
And Dad.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or Santa.
Santa!
I'm here. Well, I do.
You know what, Santa?
Yeah, I know. I got your Christmas list.
Yeah, okay, right. Cool, yeah.
You know, I do become Santa this time of year. It's funny how the Christmas lists start flying around.
Oh, yeah. My brothers and I are well into our 20s, and we are sending around Christmas lists.
It actually makes things easier.
It does. Like, even Sabrina sent me, or my cousin, she sent me her Christmas list.
You know what? I haven't gotten her anything yet.
Do you want me to send you the list?
Yes.
Okay.
But Uncle Rick's gotten a lot of stuff. We need to talk about that.
Yeah.
But we wanted to talk about Christmas first and foremost.
This is the topic for today's video.
And even some New Year's resolution kind of thinking.
Yes.
Just because it is a great time to be with family. And
it's the most
yeah. And we have a shout out to Genelle's Christmas music. If you've never listened to that, she's got some great tunes you can play while you're enjoying your Christmas holidays.
Yeah.
A lot of times people travel during this time, you know, so it's the reason for the season. It's a very special time of the year. The birth of Jesus Christ, which that's a big deal.
God bless, amen.
And it sometimes gets lost in all this, but we've always had, we've been fortunate to have family. I was reflecting with Genelle when she was a little kid. Both grandparents were close by, both sets of grandparents, excuse me. And so we were able to have all this great time over the course of a couple days of spending time with both sets of grandparents. And, that was always special, and it really created a really cool environment, and always had good food, and just really a good time, you know. So hopefully, as you're watching this, you're getting ready to get ramped up or are ramped up for this special time, and you are going to see family and spend time with friends, or, you know, who knows? People do things differently.
And sometimes people don't even see family. They take the time to reflect and get ready for a new year.
Yep.
And sometimes they choose to work.
Yes, there are people, you're right, that will be working.
Medical people.
Yeah. All kinds of stores,
people. Yep, stores too.
We appreciate you, by the way.
Yeah, we appreciate your service and that you're there for us. I know that I worked on holidays before at Whole Foods. Yep. I used to work at Whole Foods, and
that's right.
I used to work holidays.
That's
right.
And clothing, you did that.
I did do the clothes thing. Oh my gosh, the holidays were crazy.
So, you know, we could talk about the food you have at Christmas time. I'm thinking about mixing it up a little this year. You can talk about, you know, how you celebrate Christmas. You know, if you have kids, are you doing it in the morning? Do you celebrate Christmas Eve? Some people make it, they go to church on Christmas Eve.
Totally, they go to the movies.
And they go to the movies. Or that's more New Year's, I think.
Thanksgiving.
No, people go on New Year's Eve, they'll go to the movies.
Okay.
But maybe some people do. I honestly, there's all kinds of ways people do Christmas.
And celebrate.
But I think the key to it is really spending time with family.
And isn't it so crazy that Christmas is such a huge holiday, and it's to celebrate the birth of Jesus Christ? And that just goes to show the impact.
Yes,
How crazy.
Well, but again, you've heard the statement, the reason for the season. Oftentimes, you know, it was interesting. I was in Home Depot. I think it was in October, and they had Christmas stuff set up already. And I remember coming home and saying to my wife, I'm like, man, I don't even think Halloween was over, and they already had all the Christmas stuff. So I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but it's like, when do they start playing Christmas music? November 1st or something? Yeah. Before Thanksgiving. Yeah. So it's kind of like you don't want to be sick of Christmas music by the time Christmas rolls around, because I like Christmas music.
Well, then they say Christmas in July. Some people like listen to Christmas music in July.
Yeah, I've never.
But I will say, how cool is it though, for even the non-believers, we pray for you guys, for the non-believers out there though that choose to not, it still allows them to have time off to see their family and their loved ones. And I feel like that's still such like a positive thing, even though if you don't find yourself, you know, Christian or believing in, you know, whatever the reason for the season is, you are taking time to rest, to be with your family, or just have time with yourself. I really think that that's a cool opportunity that, like, even though you don't believe in Christ, his day is allowing you to, you know.
That's cool. I like that.
I think that's really cool.
So we with that, we tend to celebrate on Christmas Day. We have our day.
We do. It's always been our
Janelle will
day.
be coming to. I don't think we mentioned this is obviously remote. This isn't our normal podcasting setup.
Oh yes, if you saw our last episode, that will go. That is up actually. We are podcasting from, and recording from my apartment, my
Yes.
living room.
I blasted out here and
We did, West Coast guy.
so we could do a remote podcast. But we'll have everybody back at the house this Christmas, and whether we have snow or not is yet to be determined. I've looked ahead; it's not looking good for snow. But you never know. We might get a white Christmas. By now, people put trees up, decorations, all kinds of things. I mean, it's a big deal. People have lights outside. I don't know how big that is out here, but if you drive around back home, there's people that decorate their houses and trees, and it's always cool to see that. It's cool to see that. Oh, and the downtown area where you grew up, they actually light up all the buildings. It's kind of cool. They have lights all up and down.
Well, so let's get into our favorite Christmas dishes we cook. Let's get into some stuff that
Real quick, yeah, let's do it.
So my favorite Christmas stuff. This kind of goes to Thanksgiving, but I love some sort of sweet potato or yam with salad.
Okay.
That's a good start. What about you, go?
Well, we always do. I mean, for years, ham, and then I do some Polish fresh Polish sausage. Mashed potatoes are always big. And that's why I'm thinking of maybe mixing it up. I don't know that we've been, unlike Thanksgiving, Christmas, the actual food is, it's important. I mean, everybody wants to eat and everybody's hungry. But I think we're Thanksgiving specifically.
Right.
Turkey and, the whole
I think
mash.
this year I'm looking forward to, we're going to have to whip this out. First of all, we love family games. And I really feel like the family games start to come out during the holidays for us specifically. And I've been really into game night in general recently, all summer. I think towards the end, even with
You'll have
friends
to tell
and
me if
stuff.
I need to pick up any games.
Yeah, no, I'll send you links for sure.
You just don't have a euchre tournament?
I know, well, we got to get some people on board for that. But anyways, I think one of the things I'm really looking forward to at Christmas, I'm always looking forward to the red wine. You've always got a nice stash.
Yep.
And I really want a coffee with Baileys.
Oh, we
With
can help
cookies.
with that.
Because Christmas is all about the baking and the cookies.
Well, you won't be in town in time for that, so.
Well, there'll probably be some left.
Well, no, who's making them?
Oh, no one's making it. Oh.
Well, that's, we got to figure that out. So we have,
Okay.
we lost one
So
of
we
our
love-
cookie makers.
We love cookie baking, so I really think I'm looking for the red wine, the cookies, and the Baileys and coffee.
Yeah, so at the end of the day, and I want to say this, whatever it doesn't matter what you're going to eat, as long as you're with your family and you have the opportunity to spend time. And
But for those who don't have family,
or friends,
friends
somebody.
Yeah, and if you're alone as well, because there are a lot of people.
Go to a
who are
church,
alone.
see if they have activities, go
Yeah.
somewhere where you can be around people. And it's a great time of the year.
Because then we're entering a new year.
Yes.
And with that being said, New Year's resolutions. How do you feel about New Year's resolutions?
Yeah, well,
Do you ever have some?
I think it's a natural thing to start reflecting on your year and be thinking about goals for the following. So I'll call them more like goals than resolutions.
Yeah.
I think, and I'm not one to wait to the beginning of the year. If I feel like there's something I need to change, I try to. However, with the change of the calendar, it does sort of inspire this, attitude about, really, and we kind of had that discussion on our last, the one that we just put out about when Genelle was considering moving, how being focused in, because the holidays, you kind of get into this mode where you're you're seeing family, everybody, you kind of, then boom, the first year comes okay, back to reality.
Right.
I got to get out there and do my job and do this and make money and, all these responsibilities. And so it's a great break, but now it's time to get focused. And so I'm not opposed to using the turn of the calendar as a means to really get focused in. And I'll share an example with you that I started with my wife a few years ago. Actually did it in the form of a PowerPoint. And I had her fill it out, and then I filled it out. And then together, we sat down sometime in January, usually kind of the second week, and we went over it. She shared her thoughts and I shared mine. And it contained things, what are your goals for the year? What are the things you really want to accomplish? Whether it's travel, whether it's, fitness goals, money goals, whatever those are. So we did use that as a springboard to sort of have that discussion. What was cool about it was because, it's my wife, I wanted to know what was important to her because then I can support her throughout the year and vice versa.
Right.
So we started doing that and it ended up being, and we'd go away to share each other's PowerPoint with each other. So we didn't see it in advance. Mm-hmm. We waited till we went away somewhere and then we'd sit down and kind of go over it. And so if you're thinking about, you could do that with a friend, you could do that with your significant other, and you could say, hey man, I really want, and what makes that important, whether it's a resolution or a goal, is accountability.
Right.
You want someone to have and if you're really, really doing this the right way.
But if you don't have someone to hold you accountable?
You got to find, I think that's an important part of it, unless you're one of those people that you can keep yourself accountable.
So if you have a friend, let's say you have gym goals, find a gym buddy.
Yeah.
Or let's say you want to eat healthier, maybe follow a YouTuber or
Well, first of all, I think you have to write them down. Even if you don't have someone else that you can share it with, if you yourself take a sheet of paper and write this stuff down, and then you review it every so often, and you ask yourself, am I moving in the direction of these goals? I want to save more money. I want to get a certain fitness. I want to run a marathon.
So you would say first things first for New Year's resolution. If you want a clean slate, write it down. It's the first thing you'd say.
Yep, and if you can, have a person that
Number two, have a person.
Boom, that also is going to write their stuff down. You share with each other.
Yep.
And then I would say
check in.
That's right. I would say within at least a 3-month period, you guys get together and have a coffee or something and say, hey, how you doing on this? What's going on? How you move forward. And it becomes a habit, right? What you're trying to do is create habits that are beneficial to your life, right? This is your life. How are you going to live your life? And when people walk around without goals or they don't have any sort of direction, a lot of times, and again, there's a lot of things we can't control when we think about next year. Like, I can't tell you entirely what the economy is going to be doing. I don't know what's going on with all these. We have global situations going with wars and different things like that. You can focus in on all this stuff you can't control, and that's not going to help you. What can you control? Focus on that. Build some goals. Write them down. Share them with somebody. Number 3, hold each other accountable throughout the year.
I love that.
And when you do that, and you may sit down after 3 months and you're sitting across from the person, they say, okay, you said you wanted to do this, and you go, man, I haven't done any of that. Not a problem.
Also, knowing if someone's going to ask you about it,
right,
it kind of puts pressure on you.
Sure does. That's accountability.
I know that when I get home, like my friend gave me a number to a therapist, and I really want to try talking to a therapist. I know that when I see her, Samantha, she's going to be like, so did you call so-and-so?
Yep.
And I haven't yet, so I know before I leave, I'm going to make the phone call so I can tell her.
Such a great point.
Yeah.
Such a great point.
So it puts that fire. No, I know my friend's going to ask me about it.
Yeah, hey, maybe even you could have a parent, a brother, sister, even someone like that. Again, this to me is the difference between taking control of your life versus letting yourself meander through this world. So set goals, be focused, and really hold yourself accountable in the new year, and use it as a clean slate. Come out of the holidays supercharged, ready to go.
Let's go.
And then, man, boom. And I think you need to pick a few buckets. Finance, self-improvement are always good.
What are these, your 3 buckets?
There's more than 3.
Okay, how many?
I won't know when that counts. All right.
Okay.
All right, let's go. All right.
Finance?
Yep. I'd say your overall health, both spiritual, physical, mental, right? Your
self-improvement?
I would say self-improvement, investing in self. Oftentimes the greatest gift you can give yourself is investing in yourself. And what I mean by that is reading some materials, listening to podcasts. Hey, listen to podcasts. But there's just so much, it's funny. I've said this in a previous podcast. When I was a kid growing up, my mom said, go look it up. And man, you can go online. There's so many great things. If you're trying to learn something new this year. Last year, I learned how to make bread.
You did!
And it's kind of funny. I told myself at the beginning of the year, I said, I'd like to learn how to make bread.
From scratch.
Yeah, and I'm still learning, and I'm still getting better at making it, because while it's easy, it's hard. So I'll just say it that way. If you've never
baking is hard.
If you've never made bread before, try it.
Baking is hard.
And it's fun, by the way. I get a kick out of the process of making bread, and then every person that I feed my bread to
loves it.
I'm
so good.
Their greatest friend after that. If you want to make friends, make bread and give it to them.
Yes. Or cookies.
So those are just a couple of things. I don't want to belabor the point. I think.
Well, do you have any resolutions? I have some. I want to share.
Yeah, well,
can inspire.
I'm always trying to improve as a person in terms of knowledge and just in general. Mm-hmm. Again, a simple thing like bread. I'm taking on a little bit of a house project this coming spring, so I'm going to be delving into.
So you want to get better at breaking bread?
Baking bread. No, I said I did that last year. So this year, I want to be ready to do this house project that I'm going to do. So I might do more of the work myself. So
is that anything different from what you've done? Not really.
Well, yeah. There's certain.
You've always been pretty handy.
Yeah, but I haven't done maybe to this extent. So
okay.
We'll see. So
okay.
Fitness is always a goal.
Yeah.
Always.
What do you want to accomplish?
I actually thought about racing again. Bikes. And so if I commit to that, then I need to.
You used to race bikes, everybody.
Yeah, just very amateur.
So fitness, okay.
But yeah, so that I would say, but just to make clear, when I found like people out there are probably listeners who are runners. So maybe you're good going out running your 2-3 miles and you're happy. I need to have a target, and racing or set an event, doesn't have to be a race like you've done those before, the local charity run or whatever it is, or walk. They had a walk this year out where I live. It was 25 miles, this walk. It was a charity walk, but I go, wow, that's a long way to walk, 25 miles. My point is, by doing that and having a date set to it, so let's just say, hey, on June 15th of next year, there's this 10K race, I want to do it, or a 10K walk, or whatever. Sign up for it, right? Fill out the registration and put it in your phone, put it in your calendar, and then start the process. Mm-hmm. That sometimes will hold you accountable. That's just one example.
Yeah.
So sometimes when I tell myself that, then it makes me more accountable. Then when I go to cheat or eat too many donuts.
Or pizza tonight.
Well, I'm not saying I'm having pizza. You are. But if I'm thinking that way and I go, oh no, I got this race I got to be ready for, this event I got to be ready for in 2 months, man, I'm going to hold off on that. Mm-hmm. It's discipline. So that's what's yours.
So I had mentioned in the last podcast, but mine is looking over my finances. That's I have not done that.
Discipline too?
I have not had discipline for that at all, and I really think it affects me. It really affects me, and in so many ways. My mental health, everything. So that's my biggest thing this year. January 1st, I'm writing down everything. I need a journal specifically for my finances. I need to journal everything. So that's my biggest New Year's resolution. Along with that, I have a New Year's resolution to write 2 new songs. I want to write a couple.
Okay, so professional, you want to do song stuff.
Yep, I want to do that and get in an acting school again. I took acting school last year, and I want to get back into it this year. It's helped me so much. It helps me even more when it comes to speaking, because you're doing a lot of stuff on the spot that needs to be clear, well spoken, and delivered. When you are put on the spot when it comes to acting and improv, it's helped so much with just being on the spot when it comes to interview questions, being on camera, coming up with something super fast, getting rid of stuff like that. You cannot have that when you're reading a script, memorizing a script, or doing even improv on stage. Saying you can't really have much of that. So that's also helped me in my professional career, just by also educating myself when it comes to acting. So those are my main things. I would say fitness is always a thing.
Mm-hmm.
I want to stay consistent. I still want to work out four to five times a week.
Good.
Working out is my thing. And I want to adventure out. I actually just did this.
Any travel? Do you have any goals for travel?
Yeah, I actually just did this hot Pilates class where you're on a mat and you're in an infrared room and it's like 90 degrees.
That's cool.
Yeah, so that I want to incorporate more exciting, fun stuff. As you just asked about travel, yes, I want to go home a lot. I like to come home and podcast. I like to kind of just ground myself.
Yeah, we're gonna have to set some goals for our podcast. We need to.
We're gonna set goals. That's a big thing.
Because work will be coming up on our not coming. We're not close
6
to
months.
A year yet. Yeah, 6 months at least.
Yeah.
But so yeah, we'll need to set some goals for that.
6 months is in February. But I will say, you're switching fast for me.
We are.
I know. I will say, what was I was gonna finish saying something. Travel. I didn't get to talk about travel. I am gonna be going up to Washington. I'm gonna see Seattle for the first time. I'm gonna come to Michigan. I'm going to go to the Cayman Islands for New Year's. I'm gonna go see my friends in Houston at the top of the year, and I'm going to Denver. Shout out Alice. I love visiting Alice, and I'm also gonna go visit my friend Allie in Miami and also do some content for my jewelry line over there. So that is all happening within the first month of January. And
we're not going to all those places in January, are you?
yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
That's some flight time.
Flight time. So those are kind of my New Year's resolutions. If we were to give you guys any inspiring tips, write down your goals.
Yes.
Look at them. Just look at them.
Mm-hmm.
Aside from having friends or whatever, family, whoever, just write down what you want. Write down what you want for yourself, how you want to be a better person.
Great.
Write down what you're thankful for going up into Christmas. Even if you're alone and you feel isolated, you don't have a lot of people, I think writing down things that you're grateful for. You know, if you're able to watch this video, know that you are able to sit somewhere and have internet and watch a video and put your time into this. That is already a blessing because you already have a blessed life to be able to have that advantage. There are so many people right now in the world. My dad and I were talking about some current events that are going on and just war. People don't have that right now, and it's crazy to think that.
The basics of life. Right?
Yeah, they really don't. They can't sit down and watch Set the Standard on YouTube and not feel grateful for certain stuff in their life, or what they don't have, or the purse they don't have, or maybe, you know, they don't have the family that they want to spend the holidays with. Maybe they're having an out with their family and the family doesn't want them around. Whatever your case is, just be grateful for what you do have and like have love for yourself and for people around you. I think it's really important, and it's what helped me stay sane a lot of the times.
So with that, on 3, 1, 2, 3. Merry Christmas and
have a Happy New Year.
That's right. We did. We want to try again.
1, 2, 3. Merry Christmas and.
So we're going to say and Happy New Year. All right, ready?
And have.
And have a Happy New Year.
Yeah.
Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3.
Merry Christmas and have a Happy New Year. We love you.
Thanks for watching.
Okay. Thumbnail.